Hello and welcome to the Lobby, GameSpot's weekly hangout every Tuesday at 2 p.m. Pacific right here on GameSpot.com. I'm your host, Danny O'Dwyer, joined as ever by Mr. Christopher Waters.
Hi, Danny.
Fantastic shirt as ever.
Thank you. You can address me as the White Wolf from now on after the promo art for this week's episode.
Shout out to Anthony every week.
Look at that.
Look at
that is fantastic.
Did you see that? Look at my hair. He turned to silver.
So the problem is that Anthony has to go with like 5 pictures of us that have been taken wearing the same clothes in the same thing.
Same positions, like same expressions.
So his way
I
around
always end
it.
up with like a mad face just because it's more, you can put a mad face on video game characters more easily than like.
So he's straight up like
and it's your natural personality as well.
Yeah.
So
it is. I'm simmering with rage underneath, but
I'm just real happy they didn't do the wild wolf on me because I'm a little bit self-conscious about the grey hair thing.
No Photoshop needed.
No, that's true. Could have saved about an hour of thumbnail production time. Today we are very happy to be joined by Mr. Jason A. Stryker from GiantBomb.com.
Thank you very much for having me.
I have you here for one very, very good reason.
Because we're such good friends.
Of course, because we're wonderful friends, and also because you've been playing The Witcher.
Yes, I've been
all
playing
weekend.
A buttload of The Witcher. Yeah.
So it's finally out. It's out today for public consumption. PC, Xbox One, PlayStation 4.
All over the place.
What were you playing over the weekend? What version?
Over the weekend, we got code for the Xbox One version, and I was initially having some issues with that running. But as it turned out, it was all on my side. Like there was a caching issue, but once I got that sorted out, it was still stuttering a little bit here and there. Like, you know, it definitely seems to be, like, my wife saw it for the first time. She's like, are you playing on the 360?
Oh, no, don't say that.
She was only seeing it in the open world areas, though, where, like, the foliage is a little flat and whatnot. But when you're in cutscenes and everything, man, some of the textures, like, I don't like to throw out the word stunning. Yeah. The game's pretty damn good looking. Especially on PC now. Yeah.
Oh, don't say. So I guess this is where we get into. At the moment, Rob is doing a graphics comparison where he has it running at 60 frames a second at 2K. I'm playing on Xbox One, and it looks great. It looks great on Xbox One. Do you think it looks good on PS4?
I'm playing PS4. I've played about 2 hours last night and did that thing where, you know, like, you slow down and sort of pan the camera around to just see the sunsets, or, you know, even the interior of the first inn you go into, just like the vibrant, like, paintings on the wall and the like little flower decorations hanging, like that detail and that visual vibrancy. It's a looker.
So and I'm right there with you. I think it looks really good on Xbox One. I was kind of surprised, happy but surprised about that. But I'm not going in to have a look at it on 60 frames a second.
On PC.
On PC. Have you seen a big difference, Jason?
It might spoil you, yeah. It was a night and day difference.
So like you started again?
Yeah, I started again and actually kind of went at my own pace. So like all those like undiscovered locations that I saw like in my first playthrough, I discovered the hell out of those this time. So yeah, I took my time. I'm not quite as far as I was when I played over the weekend, but that was just like 6 hours of gameplay last night.
Wow. So we talked a little bit last week about the game as sort of the broad strokes when we had Kevin on for our review. Of course, the 9th 10 out of 10 on GameSpot.com's history.
That's great.
Let's talk about some of the quests. Let's stay away from the main quest stuff. Just some of the like interesting little stories, anecdotes that you've had playing the early part of this game. Is there any interesting stories that like pop out to you over the past like couple of days?
What's been amazing to me is like how fleshed out and well written like all of these side stories are. In comparison to like The Witcher 2, which really starts out with a bang, almost literally because you're in bed with Triss. But you know, they throw you into a big battle. There's, you know, a big dragon and everything. But in this, it's very subdued. You go through that initial like tutorial section, which ends up being a flashback. But after that, they're just like, hey, go find Yennefer. So I'm like, all right, this we'll see how this goes. And I started talking to more NPCs, and I'm like, these guys seem kind of placeholder, but I'm actually interested in what they're having to say. So everything seems so well written that it's engrossed me in a different way than Witcher 2 did.
Yeah, I'm surprised by the question mark hunting stuff you're talking about. Is probably one of the most. I've started to pick like peninsulas and just been like, I'm going to spend the next 15 minutes. Just like you know, like this area of the maps look like it doesn't have anything going on. I wonder if there's something happening there, and there's always like a bunch of stuff happening in there.
Yeah, I was on the quest I was looking for some roots at Riverbed or something like that, part of a side quest, and there was an old lady with an exclamation point above her head, and she's like peeking in the windows of this old hut, and I'm like, all right, lady, what are you up to? And she starts telling me about her night on some creepy guy was trying to get her frying pan and ended up borrowing it, and I'm like, all right, lady. She's like, the frying pan's right there. Let me go get it. So you go do it, and you find out that there's like a grisly murder inside, and there's like intrigue. There's like spy notes all over the place. And after every time that you look at something, she's like, "Did you find my frying pan yet?" So
the gameplay of that moment is you go into a hut, pick up a pan, and bring it out to an old lady who is like distraught she lost her pan.
Yeah.
But it's so full of character and it's so interesting that it's just like, yeah, I want to look at those exclamation
And it
points.
unearths, a whole other side chain of events that you can dive into.
I just had this part where I played hide and seek with a bunch of kids to get information off them.
Oh,
and I'm
wow.
pretty sure I could have intimidated them, but I was just like, whatever, I've got Witcher sense. This isn't going to take long.
What
and
is
then
the
one of
effect?
them had like climbed up on the roof of the building, and I had to like climb up and then down into a hay bale, and then I was like, there you are, I found you. And you were like, yeah, but you found me last. So she was like delighted, because it was like, you got me last. I won't hide and seek.
How far into
what
the
is the
game
effect
is
of the
that,
mental manipulation sign on children?
Yeah,
Has that been well documented?
Dude, I had this one boy telling me that like, I'm looking for Siri, and it's not this. This is like baby Siri, but I'm at one stage where I'm like asking this kid where Siri is, and he's like, I don't know, man. Apparently, all the girls with titties go into the woods, and I was like, what? And he was like, this little child, and he's like, yeah, my dad used to tell me that the girls go when the soldiers come. The girls with the nice titties go into the woods, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Do you want to play hide and seek? Because this is getting pretty awkward.
Yeah.
Do you want to try to reclaim some of your lost childhood right now?
Oh yeah, this kid's totally an orphan, by the way. So like, it's just donezo. That part's that's quest stuff as you get into like the bog later when you're looking for
That's
some of the
where
old
I'm at, actually,
crones.
right
Yeah.
now. Yep.
But I keep getting like sidetracked. I'm not in
It's
the.
easy to, yeah.
I think like there's so many open world games. Like when I think about it, it's where Assassin's Creed kind of is, and maybe Far Cry 4, which was good fun, but a lot of those side quests are very like.
Collectathons and
Like
Sure.
par for the course. You're kind of like, oh, I've got 15 of these, collect the feather quests, and 15 of these destroy the outpost. And there is some of that stuff here with like monster holes and whatnot, but it tends to be a lot more varied and like there's a lot more ways like mechanically when you're in the missions that they're sort of like you said, like all you're doing is going up, picking up a frying pan and bringing it back to her.
Yeah.
But they just do stuff to like dress that way that in a way that makes it like entertaining.
That's so true. I we're looking for Yennefer. It's really early on. I went to the bounty board because I was like, all right, I'll read what's going on. And lo and behold, it's not just like a list of quests. It's like random posts from people. They're just fun to read. But I took one that was like, I need to get to this well, but it's haunted.
Yeah.
It's kind of messed up. So you go and you talk to the guy. He tells you why he needs to get there. And you roll up to this little town, this little settlement that has the well, and you figure out pretty quickly it's guarded by a wraith of some kind. But it's not, you don't just go to that well, fight the wraith, and then go back to the dude. You like search the houses, and all the while Geralt is doing his like investigation patter where he's kind of talking to himself about like about what a Witcher is and what he does. Like it's informing you of that, and then you end up like doing some more stuff, and then he's like, all right, I need to prepare for this fight. So it's almost like a little
short tutorial.
Yeah, it's a tutorial.
Yeah.
It has that in there, but
it doesn't feel like a tutorial.
it doesn't
at all.
feel like that, and it also, you're learning about like Geralt in an authentic way. But the thing that struck me with that was these are quests. Like this world is so full of grief, and so full, and like with your orphan comment, like this world is full of people whose lives are like torn apart by loss, even when there's not a war going on.
Yeah.
But because of all these creatures and these horrors, like death and grief are such a part of people's lives. And that quest specifically, where like the wraith is a physical manifestation of just horrible grief, echoing in the world, it had this like resonance with me that just, I mean, that quest writing is just so, it's grabbed me right away.
Yeah, it doesn't dive into the sort of melodrama you associate with a lot of high fantasy stuff. It's kind of more grounded. I remember there was one part, there's these like fight clubs that are in different towns, and you can join in and you can bet on yourself and go into fight clubs. And there was one of them, and like if it was any other game, it would just be like, oh, fight that guy, fight that guy, fight that guy, like in a row. But I went to this one, I bet like 35 gold or whatever on me winning the fight, and it was just some fisherman. And then he's like, oh, please, the winner of this gets a bag of flour, and I'm starving. Like, just like the winner of this like bout. And I'm like, oh man, you fucking kidding me? So like I just went like, in that video gamey way, like I decided, who knows, if I do something nice for him, maybe I'll get something back.
Sure.
So I did the fight, and I bet him within an inch of his life, and then stopped blocking, and he bet me up, and sure enough, he wins, and he gets the flour. And nothing. nothing. And I was kind of like, okay, I don't mind. And then like I come back 2 hours later and like he's still like reigning champion. So I went in and I knew I could beat the crap out of him. So I like bet twice as much, like the top limit, and just pounded the shit out of him. And I was like, yeah, you got your food. And I just made my money back. So we're all
yeah.
There's a bunch of little swerves like that. There's a guy that needs help on the side of the road. Like apparently, his cart had been driven off the road by these drowners or whatever. Yeah. Coming to find out through some investigation that he's actually the guy that shot it down. When you confront him about it, he gets like completely dim-witted, and he's like, look behind you, trying to run away.
He just runs?
Yeah, and he hops on a horse, so he starts chasing after this idiot, right? And you knock him off the horse, and come to find out that he's actually a spy for like the rebels of the area.
Oh, wow.
And the lockbox that he wanted you to obtain actually has medical supplies for his homies. But,
wow.
So you have the choice of giving it back to him or keeping it, or a big swerve in that.
And there seems to be such a
medicine.
I
was like,
oh really?
You go on your way with your life, but Witcher gets paid.
Okay, last one, because I don't want to give away any more spoilery stuff.
All right.
Have any of you guys...
This is all very early, by the way.
Yeah, this is super early. Have any of you guys seen the gentleman outside of, was it Crow's Perch, who has to beat up 100 knights to get like the honor of this woman?
I have not. No.
And he's on 99. He's on 99 and he comes up to Geralt and you're like, mate. So he like pulls out his sword. I tried to convince him not and it wouldn't work. So now I didn't fight him because I was like, I don't want to kill this guy because he seems like a nice dude. Every time I go back to Crow's Perch, he's waiting for me.
He's ready to go.
And he goes, Geralt's there. And he's back. And Geralt like automatically pulls out his sword and I'm like, nope, just keep going, Roach.
Yep. Just keep going. Don't take a swing. Just let the guy live it out.
I kind of want to see what happens if you kill him.
Yeah, all right, so here's a question, though. This is, you've got multiple save slots. You can have manual saves. What are your personal philosophies about saving, sticking with your decisions? Where are we at?
I tend to stick with them, but last night I had the fortunate opportunity to like replay some of the stuff that I had done before.
Oh,
so
right, yeah.
I chose some different things. Yeah,
Mm.
there's a gentleman that you talk to, the Emperor, actually, and you can choose whether or not to bow to him. So I chose the opposite, and yeah, he treated me completely differently during the conversation.
Did you bow the second time?
Did not bow the second time.
I didn't bow both times I've done it.
The first time I bowed, which was kind of a humorous thing the first time. But
you literally have to learn the bow. You have to do like the hand, knee in, right arm. You have to like, it's
oh,
pretty
really?
Good. Yeah, game's super smart.
It's really good.
The one thing I've seen on Xbox One, I'm not sure if it's the same for PS4, or it's probably different on PC, is that there's a maximum 8 of manual save slots. So you can't like Oblivion it and have like consoles, 300.
Yeah, on the PC it seems to just keep going.
Keep going?
Yep.
Yeah, I usually like leapfrog when I have multiple saves.
Sure.
But personally, I haven't. I think I'm going to try to stick through with the decisions.
I'm with you. I did the same for Mass Effect on Mass Effect 2, and I was lucky enough that I got everyone through that. But I was like, this is it. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out.
That's tough because, I mean, there's what, 36 total endings or something like that? Yeah. And your choices carry so much weight that it's tough to make those, especially like the split decision ones.
We gave GameSpot gave The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt a 10 out of 10. You guys think it's right up there?
I think it's up there. I think there are definitely some technical issues.
Yes.
But if CD Projekt Red has proven anything, it's that they continue to support the game post release. So I have no worry that they'll sort it out.
Excellent.
Yeah, so far, so good for me.
Cool. Looking forward to playing more Witcher 3 Wild Hunt over the next couple of weeks and perhaps months. If you want to see more of our coverage, go over to GameSpot.com and let us know in the comments what you think of your time with Geralt of Rivia. We're going to be back in a second. We got some Doom on the show. We got House of Wolves. Eric Tays pride himself away from his PlayStation 4. Woo! Could be getting all that XP. You guys still outranking IGN on that? Better believe it. We'll be back in a second. Now we're going to talk about some Beyond Earth with Chris. But first of all, here's that trailer you all been looking for. It's Farming Simulator 2015.
Peggy 3.
What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? going on? What's going on?
Farming Simulator 2015 coming to current gen consoles.
Should we tell them about like the that situation? So the PR company that does PR for The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt and Farming Simulator 15 are the same. And so I got a package yesterday, day before Witcher release.
Ooh.
Big package from Evolve PR. Farming Simulator 15 gift package.
Jam.
Biscotti. They're like little bruschetta things.
Yeah.
Some chocolate in the game.
Most importantly, a copy of the game on PlayStation 4.
Absolutely.
I was actually playing Farming Simulator 2014 on a live stream on Saturday.
Oh,
via,
the supply drop?
Via PlayStation Now. It's on that service.
That's good.
Yeah.
Good to have it on
all
there.
your hot games on there.
How was your crop situation?
It was
Okay.
That game was real difficult. I bought a cow and spent 10 minutes trying to find where the fuck it was on my farm. Never found it. I found the sheep. Sheep cost me 200 farm bucks or whatever unit of. It's probably Deutschmarks, right?
Farm bucks.
Or something.
Yeah, no, it's government subsidies. So
Yes.
it's all farm bucks.
Food stamps.
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go. Farmers all around the world. Check it out. Farming Simulator 2014. Anyway, hey, I want to talk to you all about Civilization Beyond Earth. That game came out in October of last year. Chris Waters, you had an interesting phone call in the last week.
Yeah.
With one of the
talked
developers?
with one of the co-lead designers, Dave McDonough, about the new expansion for it, right? So it's called The Rising Tide. And it's basically like, what if you could just colonize the water?
That's the pitch?
No, that's like the real lame, cool guy way to say it
All right.
that I just gave to you. But no, it's, yeah, so you can build, one of the big things is being able to build settlements on the water as freely as you can on land. And so that just, you can imagine with water and civilization traditionally just being a barrier to exploration or something to sort of control vaguely with military might it's sort of a passage or a transit lanes. Now having it as territory you can exert some control over, you have some bigger investment in. There's a lot of like potentially game-changing things.
Yeah, it seems like it like fundamentally changes the attack patterns, or like in terms of like what taking over like specific areas, because it used to be like where you built in relation to like where you could build next or where you could expand to was always defined by the water. So can you like build bases right off the bat on the water? Can you build like lots of, how much detail have they gone into about like how this will work?
Yeah, they're sort of keeping a lot of it under wraps because it's coming out in fall, so they're going to be doing more sort of press rollouts and stuff, presumably, as that comes along. I don't know if you can start with a oceanic civ. I imagine you can, because they have to make the water world map possible, right? Just the whole blue ocean. But yeah, you can have an empire that's mainly aquatic. You can, it really does sort of change where you're going to be able to expand your territory to. I don't know if is an aquatic city going to grow to the point where because you can beat a civilization game with just one city or with two cities, Will it be able to be that rich and grow that big? And that raises, being on water raises a lot of questions in terms of, how do you restrict passage? How do you, you can see resources and stuff, so that's going to be important. But terrain on land has all these military implications.
Yes, like mountain passes and valleys and stuff like that, whereas water is pretty much is there any underwater stuff in this at all?
You'll be able to see different layers of the sea, like deep sea resources and shallow resources, but there's no other layer, there's no submarine layer.
There's no XCOM Terror from the Deep.
Yeah, there's no
happening.
Orbital layer equivalent below the sea. It's all just sort of one surface layer. So that's one of the big things that's pretty intriguing about Rising Tide. Then they're also overhauling the diplomacy system entirely.
Really?
Yeah, they're sort of talking a big game about it and then not saying what the details are yet, of course. But I guess the thing is traits. So when you look at, when you have a certain civilization leader, let's say in the historical civs, they would be militaristic or industrious or whatever, depending on their history and their kind of persona. These traits are aimed to sort of do a similar thing, but they're also, they can change. You can determine what your traits are So you adopt them, and other civs change their traits depending on the course of the game.
Cool. So you're not stuck in like one type of like class almost for the entire thing.
Yeah, it's like diplomacy. It is like kind of static in a lot of games to me. It's like everything's peaceful until some dudes get cranky, and then
I'm
there's
the peaceful
wars.
race, so I'm going to do this, or I'm the like this. Like you're sort of set out your table before you've even sat down at it.
Yeah, and so the idea with traits is not only to sort of make things a little more visible in terms of what people's intentions are, but also to, I guess, add some more complex layering in terms of what kind of diplomatic things are available to do with different partners.
Yeah.
You know, if you have like traits, maybe there's something new you can do. There's a whole bunch of other stuff that they're adding in that's not,
like
not sort of the marquee items. Yeah, new units. You saw in the screenshots there's like a new biome that's like the lava world.
Cool.
It's primordial Earth. But
a couple of new biomes?
Yeah, 2 new biomes, I think, 4 new civilizations or factions, whatever. But the thing that interests me is sort of thinking about this, you know, the expansion's history with Civilization. Like Civilization 5 came out, right? Lots of people love that game. Civilization 5 Gods and Kings came out and added in faith and religions and spies and all these systems that really changed,
like game changers,
in a significant way, how Civ 5 played. And so my question for the Rising Tide is like kind of, you know, the reception for Beyond Earth was kind of lukewarm.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways, people sort of felt, I think with the monolithic Civ 5 Gods and Kings sort of being the reigning Civ champ for so long, and then there's so much excitement about the, like, oh, new Alpha Centauri is coming out. It's like you're going out into the alien realms. You're going to be able to like do so much. Like the sky's the limit, right?
Yeah, and you were saying, we were kind of talking about it earlier, that they kind of maybe were a bit too safe with it.
Yeah,
and they're kind of recognizing that.
They own it. Like at a GDC postmortem, the 2 co-lead designers were saying, you know, one of the things that they wish they had done more was go further, diverge further from Civilization, because you know it's their first time co-leading a Civ game.
Yes, 2 young developers, like they're in their mid-20s, I think.
They're not quite that young, but they're like our age.
Okay.
I mean, or like, I don't know exactly.
They're not Sid Meier levels
of kids, but no, they're not Sid Meier. You know, they're not that. You know, he still works there and he consulted on the game, but it was really these 2 guys leading the charge. And I think the thing they kept talking about in these preview events is like, how do you remain Civ, but then reinvent it for an alien planet where anything is possible, and future technology where you could do anything? And
turns
they
out
talked
water
a lot about that.
Turns out water's on planets.
So
alien planets.
so they're taking a shot at the water. Hopefully, this will be sort of their chance to be a little more ambitious and a little more bold or divergent.
Final question: is this a paid-for expansion pack?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
I think it's going to be like $30 or $20.
So 30. I think it'll be interesting to see what the reception is to that. It'll be a year since it came out, so hopefully it won't sting too much.
Yeah, it'll come out this fall, so yeah, we'll see. And maybe they'll have some deals. I don't know, but
Game of the Year edition or whatnot.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Who knows?
Awesome. Well, keep your ears tuned to GameSpot.com for more on Civilizations, Beyond Earth, Rising Tide. There, I got it. And let us know in the comments. More or less. Rising Tide. The Rising Tide?
It's all good.
The Rising Tide.
I just like to poke funny.
Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, not The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. Speaking of The Witcher 3, we're actually giving away a copy of the game on Xbox One. With an Xbox One!
What?
Shit, son. Make sure you keep, straight up putting it up right now. I like
Blammo.
it. Hashtag GS The Witcher Sweeps. You got to tweet at GameSpot with that bad boy for your chance to win it on Xbox One. It's pretty good. I've been running it on Xbox One for... It's weird. There are frame rate hitches on pre-rendered cutscenes. And today I tweeted out to people, what's it like playing on PC? Same thing.
Yeah.
Just a weird, pre-rendered.
And at the beginning, I encountered this on the PS4 last night. It was like the cutscene's gotta rev up, or it's not fully loaded in once it starts. So it's starts off kind of jerky, but then it's pretty much fine for the rest of the thing.
And it kind of feels like that Skyrim jank where you're like, you're doing a lot. Don't worry about it.
It's a little bit like that, yeah.
Puppet strings happening here. I'm okay with a little bit of jiggery-pokery happening.
And the conversation we were having earlier, we're sort of comparing PC to PS4 and Xbox One. Like you're saying, if you're not seeing them side by side, you're not looking at that, then you just look at one version of the game. It looks freaking great.
This is the first time, I think specifically on the Xbox One, because I use PlayStation 4 a lot more usually at home. This is the first time I've played a game on Xbox One where every once in a while I go, fuck, this is running on an Xbox One? Since that console came out.
Yeah.
This is the game where it's like, oh, okay, this is how good stuff can look.
Yeah. we're getting there now.
So
we're there.
Just don't want to look at it on PC. But yeah, we'll give it the details for that again later on the end of the show. We got a bunch more stuff to get through. Doom, House of Wolves, but first of all, a little bit light on the trailers front, so I decided to pick this one because it was fucking weird. Let's check out the trailer for Iron Fish. Iron Fish. Iron Fisher. Coming to a variety of consoles and PCs perhaps in the future. I don't know. I was too busy trying to take out my goddamn contact lens. I'm like blind in one eye now. Hey, what's up?
Yeah, what's going on? You were wearing your glasses earlier. Yeah, you having some eye situations today?
Yeah, I got these contacts, man. They're like the moist ones. Oh, let's see your blind Dark Tays. Hey, what's up?
Yeah. Not too bad.
It's my Poindexter look.
It's that fake gamer guy look.
Suits you. Fake gamer guy? Like Greg Miller look. I saw him without glasses one time. I didn't have a fucking clue what it was.
Really?
Nope, didn't have a clue. All right, let's try that from the top. Hey, what's up? Guess what? There's a new Doom coming out, and it's called Doom. Straight up calling it Doom. Andy Bauman, Eric Tay, joining myself and Chris on the couch. How you doing, guys?
Great.
Doom.
Doom.
It's called Doom. Bethesda put out a trailer. Let's check it out. Let's cut to the chase. Check out this sweet trailer from Bethesda Softworks. Man, I hope they show all the gameplay. We can just run the whole trailer here. Don't worry about it. It's a shotgun. There's a Reverend. What?
Yeah.
Great. Doom.
I'm excited. Are you excited?
I can't wait.
I love that dude. He looks so jaunty. He's like, yeah, what's up, get right.
All right, watch it again.
Let's
Look at his arm wiggle. Look at his. Yeah. Come on.
He's got to do something with his hands. You know, there's nothing in him.
That's true. Because Reverend has rocket launchers. That's true. He's just like, yeah.
I think it's Revenant.
Revenant?
Yes.
Not Reverend?
Yeah.
Revenant?
I think Revenant.
That's from Doom 2. Good old Doom. This is going back to the old Doom. Did you like Doom 3, Andy Bauman?
Yeah, I love Doom 3.
I love Doom 3 too. That was real good.
So much.
Is that the like you got the gun out or you got the flashlight out?
Yes, sure is.
Both.
There was a mod where you could get, it was a duct tape mod where they stuck the...
Yeah, thank God.
Do you remember that? There was a Hello Kitty one as well. You remember that? Turn the flashlight into a Hello Kitty logo. It was real good.
Diffuse the tension.
But it looks like they're going back to the original sort of hell demonish nonsense from the first game in this one. But have you guys seen the trailer for the unreleased Doom game that they were working on previously?
Oh yeah, I played guitar in that trailer. Did you?
Did you hear I'm not sure if do we have audio on this.
Slay it.
So we do.
Yeah,
great.
we do if we turn it up. Yeah.
So this is some footage that just got leaked by Doom fan site, which is basically the game that they were making before what we now know as Doom. This is it looks like Call of Duty.
It looks like a drink.
The Division.
Just kidding. It looks like Splash Damage was gonna make a Doom game, and then Bethesda was like, "We don't like you anymore."
I'm getting more of a Gears vibe from it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, maybe Gears.
The destroyed city, the third person shots of the guy running into space.
But this is like target cinematic footage. Like, there's no way that was game.
Yeah.
Like anywhere near an engine or anything like that. So.
It's also it's kind of like this is the tone.
It's hard to tone
we're going for. It's like the mood board of Doom.
Tone trailers,
Doom.
man. Tone trailers.
Whereas the tone trailer they just put out is the old game, but with shoulder jiggles.
Is it gameplay?
Shotgun.
It looks like an engine.
Shotgun
shot.
confirmed.
I'd
Maybe.
put money on that's engine.
I'd like to hear.
Also, I like the logo. So
you like the minimalist sort of just flat black on white.
Great.
Nice
Baby.
little edges. coming around.
So this is the first gameplay we've seen, or whatever this is,
this is
of Doom. Well,
like video.
Video.
The gameplay reveal
engine.
is
Exactly.
E3.
That's what
At the
I-
end
that's
of
what
that
I
trailer,
think.
they say
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's why I feel like it's not.
Yeah.
Maybe close, but not
I think
like
it's
that. Not
in
like
engine,
that.
and it's
In
being
engine.
shot like in camera.
But
engine.
apparently they showed gameplay at
QuakeCon?
QuakeCon
QuakeCon,
last
yes.
year. That was straight up gameplay.
Oh, really?
So they're just teasing it,
It was
so we
behind
get all excited.
closed doors. You could only
How
only
is-
if you were there.
How has that not been leaked? There was like
Yeah.
hundreds of people in that
That's
room.
some good tight. They must have.
Well-
They must have been like, please, like you're the community. Don't like.
Yeah.
It's the Bethesda way. It's the same with Fallout.
Yes.
I mean, the Star Wars Battlefront gameplay we saw at Celebration hasn't been leaked. Like, it's even
Did
though
you
it
get
may
it on your cell
seem
phone?
like everything leaks, some things just don't leak.
Yeah.
Maybe it's more like the diehard. You know, like you're going to QuakeCon. You've probably been to a QuakeCon before. You know what I mean? So
you don't
like,
you don't want to be
you're
that
not gonna
person.
Yeah.
I mean, we
guess.
all respect our embargoes that we're under most of the time.
Mostly.
Yeah.
Just
Till
stretch them
someone
out a little
else
bit.
leaks
You know?
So like, people do that.
But we're gonna see some more, I guess, at E3. As Doom fans, one and all, what would you guys like to see? Andy, first of all.
Okay, here's what I want to see. I want to see all the footage, all the logos, and then at the bottom, instead of id Software, I want to see machine games. That would make me so happy
those guys are
because,
so
man, they're
good.
so cool, and they made Wolfenstein so good.
Are you enjoying the old blood?
Yeah, like 100%.
Yeah.
Although, we'll get to it next, but like, I think my perception of shooters has been
Oh,
changed by
God damn
Destiny.
it. Okay, we'll get
But
to that
anyway,
in a little
yeah,
second.
Wolfenstein's real good.
You know what I liked about Doom? Being able to dodge projectiles. Like, that's not really a thing. You could kind of do that in some shooters these days, but like,
You do it on Destiny.
yeah, like that's what I'm saying. Like, some of the Destiny things you can see coming and you can get out of the way of. But like,
Big
that kind of,
fireballs.
when you can see bullets coming at you, it's not just a matter of avoiding. You're not avoiding sight lines anymore. You're avoiding actual projectiles. So you can be in the sight line. You can play that aggressive way if you can dodge stuff and if you like are quick with it. So I'd like to see that.
Excellent. The only thing I want to see, apart from some hot BFG action, is best. You did a video about explosions.
Sure
An
did.
incredible video about explosions on GameSpot.com. The one we forgot to mention was the exploding barrels in Doom 1. When you like hit one of those and
The physics
dude,
were so good. They just go
Wasn't it?
sideways.
it just went and it like exploded, and then if the dude was like within 10 feet, he just turned to mulch. Just like, remember?
They just crumbled.
Games were so good.
That's what I want. Because Wolfenstein, they did a good job of like really making it, it's this kind of like crazy over the top cartoony shooter, but man, when you shot people, it sucked. It was like a shotgun to the face in that game was real.
Dude's having a bad situation.
I want
So-
some nice 1080
All right, so you brought up Doom 3.
people turning into like bits of pineapples and prawns.
bone and ichor.
So let's go back. You brought up Doom 3, right?
Yeah.
So that was a change in like the tone of the game because it was monster closets and like flashlight shadow management scares. But
was
they
in, like-
had some shooting like arenas kind of with lots of action, but it wasn't so much like a huge area like Serious Sam or Painkiller, which that was kind of like those were the spiritual successors to Doom in a way. What would you want to see? Do you want to see a tight corridor directed shooter with scares and nice tech?
Yeah, see, I don't
or
know.
do you
'cause,
want
like, I think
an
Doom 3
open
has to be
shooter
that.
that's just like crazy balls to the walls action?
I feel like that's been done, so that's been such well trodden ground at this stage.
Yeah.
Like to me, Doom, I know there was like those big open areas, but they were big and open because they felt big after you spent so much time being stuck in this like
In this.
complex, you know? Like even the end of Doom 3 ended up being like outdoor in hell. You know, all
Right,
that
it was
stuff
just like
was kind of like
a platform that had no.
yeah, it was basically
Just
Zen
skybox
from
with a platform.
Half-Life.
Yeah.
As if two games about portals and bad things coming through aren't already basically the same story. I don't know. I really like Doom 3. I guess I just want them to make sure the shooting is fun and make sure there's like variety in weapons and variety in bad guys. That's kind of all I care about. Because the one bad thing about Doom 3 was you were basically up against like imps for the entire game.
Yeah.
Just dudes like hopping out and going with fireballs. That's what I like to see.
Cool.
Eric Tay, you just want Destiny, right?
Yeah, pretty much. No, I mean, like, I didn't like. Now that I think about it, I was like, oh yeah, Doom 3. Oh yeah, it was really dark, and you had to hold the flashlight up all the time. And I was like, I think I didn't even finish it because like I just couldn't stand it because it was just different, I guess, from the old Doom. So if they do anything from like the first two, I'm good.
Cool.
Like I'm happy.
I want a big enemy, like 2 stories enemy.
Didn't
Like
they
you see in
show
like
one that was really good?
Resistance, like just like a huge boss.
Like a cackle demon, but it's like it's that big floating meatball head, but it's like the size of a plane.
Epcot
It's like
Center.
huge. Just
Yes.
shoot into its mouth.
So So
You're just shooting parts of it, and because then you can like destroy parts of it and can get even more messed up, but still come at you.
What's the little hang down thing in your mouth that like?
Oh, your tonsils or whatever?
Like the little thing. That thing. That thing is just John Romero's face. And you have to like shoot it into.
Just roll into it.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what I want from Doom 3 is I want interactive menus that you walk up to and you control the mouse.
Yeah.
Remember how cool that shit was? No.
My
takers?
PDA.
Yeah, I want my PDA. There was a Nigerian fraud joke in that game. There was a straight up Nigerian. Well, not anymore, but there was back in 2004. Same year Half-Life 2 came out. Good year for games. God, we're 11 years waiting. 11 years waiting.
Doom should have a sense of humor about itself a little bit too.
Because it's kind of dumb.
Oh yeah.
Excellent. Well, I guess we'll find out more about
id Tech
Doom.
5. Do you think they're gonna stick with that id Tech?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They got it, I guess.
Yep. They can't afford to be. This is Rage costs a lot of money to make. They gotta make sure this one gets knocked out of the park.
All
right. Guess that's why they got.
Wolfenstein's good, and that's id Tech. So.
I guess we'll find out soon enough. We'll see that gameplay reveal at the Electronic Triple in just over a month's time. So make sure you stay tuned to GameSpot.com for all our coverage at E3. First of all, though, gentlemen, Eric Tay is on the couch, which means we must be talking about
the Big D.
The Big D. Let's talk about
Eric's
big hunkin' D.
Yeah.
Eric Tay, Destiny, second expansion pack, House of Wolves. Bam, it's happening. Tell us all about it.
Yeah, came out today, this morning, 10 a.m. Fallen people have betrayed the queen, so she's like, why don't you come help me out and kill these guys and we'll give you stuff.
Yeah?
Who doesn't want to get stuff and be a guardian?
What type of stuff?
Exotics, legendaries. Like Andy just hopped in actually, like more recently, and we kind of actually Josh Sherpa'd him through a little bit today, and he got his first exotic. Yeah, you got Sherpa.
That's pretty good.
Sherpa was your first exotic?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't have to pay
Haku
me.
was his
He
first
put
one.
you on his back.
I know, he carried me.
He put the team on his
He
back.
carried me. I'm getting the easy.
So
easy
you
life,
started
baby.
back playing Destiny like only
Like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you level up just for House of Wolves?
I was trying. I've only gotten to like 27 now. But okay, so Tate,
Yes.
you're downplaying your hype. You were so hyped today.
Oh yeah, I'm excited. I mean,
Yeah,
like
dude.
I had taken a
go back
break
to the beginning.
from playing Destiny because I was just burnt out. I played way too much. Everyone knows it. And I was like, I was a little skeptical about this just because it's like, okay, they didn't have a raid, and the raid was kind of like their big thing.
Yeah.
But now they have two different kind of end game activities instead. One is a PvP, more PvP oriented, and one is a PvE one, which is the Prison of Elders, which Andy and I got to play earlier. It's kind of like Horde mode with a twist, except there's like different rooms and different enemies, and there's like objectives that you have to go through, like defuse a mine. So you and your teammates, it's a group of 3 now instead of 6 on like a raid.
Yeah.
You
That's cool.
guys try to communicate with each other, like we got to get to A and defuse that, and like oh, be careful though. There's all these monsters trying to like shoot you too. So
Is it an endless mode as well?
it's not endless. There's I think 5 rounds for the 28, the 32, and the 34, and then there's a 35 version,
Right.
which has like the big boss kind of guy.
Solid Snake, got it.
Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, story was great too. I didn't get to play story when I went up to Bungie, so getting to see some of this stuff was cool. That jumping puzzle kind of thing that we just showed right there
I'll cut back
actually
to it,
is
yeah.
like really fun.
Yeah.
It's one of like the more unique things that happened in Destiny.
Yeah, it's like when with the raid
originally.
stuff when they started like mixing it up.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
putting
exactly.
So is this? Do you feel like this sort of punches a bit harder than the Dark Below did?
Yeah, I think there's more new stuff, and I think they definitely did a better job kind of leading up to this one. They've been actually slowly getting better. With Dark Below, they added some content that you could play before the expansion, kind of like a WoW, right?
Yeah.
Like, you know how like when WoW expansions come out, they're
Patch
like,
it.
yeah, they
Just
give you
before,
that
yeah.
big patch, like that meaty patch right before, and things start to turn different ways. They did that a little bit with Dark Below, but they really kind of did it with House of Wolves this time. And basically, there are all these like mini events that you could do leading up to today, where you hunted bad guys and like bad fallen guys, which is like themed with this expansion. And that kind of stuff's cool. Like, and they gave you some other stuff as well, but that's like kind of the main point of it. But yeah, I think accessibility-wise, it's more accessible than it was originally.
Actually, let's talk about that,
So, yeah.
Andy, because
Well, yeah,
you
'cause-
started back 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Like, do you feel like this was something that you needed to like power level up to, or like catch up with narrative to, or were you kind of easy? Were you able to like grab it pretty quick?
Well, okay, so like this coming a lot of people play Destiny. A lot of people are hardcore into Destiny. That's undisputable, right? So I was like, why? Because we played on the live stream. You were not. You were cold on it.
Yeah.
Kevin's review was cold on it, and I was like, but I remember playing through the first couple levels on the Xbox One and really liking the way it controlled. Granted, I don't really play shooters on console. I try not to.
Yeah. You play Wolfenstein, for instance, on PC.
Exactly. I play everything on PC as much as I can. But I really was impressed with the controls on Xbox One, and I was like, wow, the auto aim is beautifully done. Like it's so good, and they reward you for that stuff. And getting headshots and stuff, the hand cannon, it's like addicting. Just the way it shoots is just so
got
good.
that Bungie seal of quality for shooting.
Like it cannot be understated. Also, what cannot be understated is the story is garbage, or not garbage. Just, it's just like not. There's nothing there. It's like Aaron Sampson, our guy here.
Yeah.
It's a paragraph of a story. That's all they tell you, right? So like that first playthrough where you go through all the missions, that's nothing. The game hasn't even started, which a lot of people hate that's the fact, right?
But the game has started.
Right, and it started
literally
and
playing
finished.
hours and hours of that.
Like as far as a traditional review, like this is maybe one of the problems we face as a website going forward. The traditional review starts and ends at that point, basically, because you got to move on to the next thing. You got to put a score on it, ship the review. That's when the game starts, though. They warmed you up. They told you how things work. They showed you the enemies and showed you the places you're going to be going back to over and over.
So you think
but down the game goes, and you're like, oh, I'm going to go do the mission again. Oh, but there's a boss battle this time that's like 10 times bigger than anyone you face in the game, and you're with your buddies because all of them are playing too. So you want to get on it, and everything's great. And it's like, I don't know. I can't.
I think that's.
I can't really express like how much I'm enjoying Destiny because it's. Like I know I'm not supposed to. Maybe that's what I'm like feeling guilty about it.
No,
I'm loving it. Maybe I shouldn't tell mom and dad. Like, you know what I mean? And yeah, like this new stuff they just added today is like a whole bunch of stuff that
like the Scrooge McDuck shit.
Yeah, the Scrooge McDuck. So like this
is like one of the bigger things too, right? Like in the past, there were ways that you could kind of get stuff like loot and like gear and stuff like that, and it was kind of like luck based-ish. You know, it's like, oh, I might get something, I might not. But here you have something like this, which is the Prison of Elders, which is a new PvE element. There's 4 versions. And thanks, Josh Shaw.
That's what I'm talking about.
And you're guaranteed loot, right? That big chest.
Yeah.
You're guaranteed an exotic. You're guaranteed a weapon. So now at least
I got an exotic
when you finish it.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and he was losing his shit because he's never gotten one.
Yeah.
So that's the good part. There's a bunch of quality of life stuff that's come through like since the beginning. It's very different. The Destiny phone app is amazing. I haven't seen a game really use a phone app the way.
Have you downloaded the phone app?
Dude, the phone app is revolutionary.
Let me put this into perspective.
It is legit.
Yeah.
Did Tay get a job at Bungie? What's going on?
Let me put this into perspective though.
It's so good.
Because I'm still trying to make a game plan of how to level, right? Because I'm like, I'm 27, I got to get. Because the only way to level is like your armor has more light, and then that levels it, right? It's kind of confusing, but it's self-explanatory once you're in it. I'm like, okay, so what happens when you're 32? Because you guys have 32s, and then they're telling me, oh, not only do we have 1 32, we have 3 32s, and I'm like, okay, so you guys have done all this, gotten to the end, and then done it again twice. So like, so they just like go through it again and again, and then not only that. I think only Josh has done 3 different classes. They're doing the same class on 2 different characters, because there's reasons for that. And like so I think it's like the meat of this game, like the shooting, the boss battles, the teamwork, the persistence. Like you're going in this world, you're doing all this stuff, and then it stays there. Like, you know. It's addicting, and so they're going back and doing it again.
And now you're in.
So I'm in because, and this is what's changing my perception about shooters. Is like, okay, so Wolfenstein comes out. It's like, I love the way that game works. I love sliding around, shooting Nazis, and doing cool stuff. But it's like, but wait, I don't get anything for it.
You get fun.
Here's the thing.
I get some fun, but I get fun in Destiny, and I get a new gun and a new armor set, and I get to go hang out with my buddies and shoot a big boss, kind of like. So I hated Bloodborne, or I don't hate it, but like I don't get those games, I don't play them. But this is kind of like, oh, these boss battles are cool, you gotta figure them out, they're real hard, there's lots of stuff. It's like kind of like Bloodborne, but a shooter.
I'm having serious flashbacks to me, like, at the end of last year,
and then it's all gonna go
Crota
down?
came out. I was like running with these guys, like we were raiding frequently, like I didn't have multiple characters, but like playing pretty frequently, like same stuff over and over again, and the same stuff, like the camaraderie, the rewards, like that. There is appeal there. There is, and obviously the mechanics. I think no one disputes that mechanically that game is stellar. I'd just be interested to see how you feel in like 4 weeks when there's not new content.
Let's go to Chris.
That is the thing. That is probably the thing.
So what happens?
So that's the question for Eric. Is my question is like, all right, coming back to House of Wolves, you talked about a bunch of new stuff, and obviously the new stuff is fun to do. Literally the day it comes out. But like, do you see, like, in terms of the longevity of House of Wolves versus Crota, or versus just the core Destiny stuff, do you see any real difference or anything that?
So with Crota, it lasted longer because what they did was they timed stuff out. They said, here's the normal raid. You can do it in, I don't remember the time frame, but it's like, you can do it now, but you can't do the hard one for another month or whatever it was. 4 to 6 weeks. So basically they kind of spaced you out in terms of like, okay, you get at least 2 months potentially, right? Because you are forced behind a lock of you can't play this.
Which is basically them giving you 80% of the expansion and then being like, you can have the other 20 in a month. I don't know how people didn't lose their shit about that, the way that people lose their shit about DLC for a full game.
Part of it was you probably might not beat it the first week. So maybe it takes you 2 weeks anyway. So like you're learning and it takes time. Like
That's true.
There's different sets of skills for people, right? There's like, your high end, your hardcore, and then you're like novice or amateur, whatever, right? And so they go at different paces. You have multiple characters, blah, blah, blah. This was also probably a ploy to stretch it out. I'm not going to lie.
Sure.
It's probably to stretch it out.
Do you think they need to do that with House of Wolves?
I don't think they can unless they have stuff that they haven't talked about. I don't think they necessarily need to, but...
You're satisfied as a player of Destiny?
Let's put it in perspective, though, because we played, how long did we play this morning? We're already done with the story missions.
Yeah. So do you think there's enough content there to, like, are you happy as a Destiny player, somebody who pumps a lot of hours into this game with what's in House of Wolves?
I am happy with it, but it's, like, for me, I'm going to play the crap out of it this week, and with whoever needs help, whatever, and then continue to do it for, like, probably, like, a month, like Chris said, maybe 6 weeks-ish, and then... maybe play Witcher on the side or something for the first time.
And then when the next expansion pack comes out,
exactly.
come back again.
It's like a WoW thing, though, right? Everyone's excited for, even though the content is different than WoW content because like it's more heavy or whatever. But they're excited for new content, right? And they're excited to do stuff they've never done before, which it is, which they have 2 new avenues, right? Which because like they've never had these things before, and so you play it, and then you're gonna be like, oh, this is really fun. Play both of them, and then you're just gonna be like, okay, every 2 days a week, I'm gonna do it, finish, and then I'll probably
like
play
slowly
something
peters
else.
off, and then you're back in.
I've also been playing only like about an hour and a half a night, except for like on Sunday I played a pretty long stretch. But like, I'm not binging so much, which maybe helps.
Yeah. So fingers crossed. We'll see what happens if you're still playing in a month. If you're
we'll
still
see.
playing in a month,
Chris,
if
get
you're
back
still
in.
playing
We'll check it
after
out.
E3, I'll fucking get in.
I'll be playing at E3.
Whoa!
I'll level up. I'll do a full
Excuse me?
32.
Whoa,
If you're still
whoa,
playing
whoa.
after
Excuse
E3,
me.
I'll do a full. Whatever. 32. What's the top limit?
Yeah,
So he just has to get to 32, and he'll play?
No.
No.
So
If he's still playing
He's still
after
playing
E3,
on the
I'll get
regular.
it.
E3's not that far away.
It's not that far away.
Like less than
It's
a
just
month.
around the corner.
So I still have a lot to do though. Like if I was already 32,
This one's faster, don't worry. You'll
like
get there.
All right. Well.
You'll
That'd
get
be
there
a
because I want to
question
force him to
going
play it.
Great.
dude, come on, it's fun.
All right, in the team. All right, that's the lobby for this week. First of all, I just want to do a quick little re-mention of the competition that we did earlier today. If you want to win a copy of The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt plus an Xbox One console, look at that lower third on the screen right there. Tweet at GameSpot with the hashtag GSTheWitcherSweeps.
That's a good contest.
It's a pretty
That's
sick.
a good reward
All you
for
gotta do is
contests.
tweet. All you gotta do is drop a tweet.
Yeah.
You don't have to do multiple tweets. You do that one tweet. Bam, bam, bam. And we'll pick one out of there, and the winner will win an Xbox One and a copy of The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. Thanks to everyone for watching the lobby today. Thank you very much, Andy, Eric Tay, Chris Wattas, Mr. Jason A. Striker, who was with us earlier. Everyone back in production, Jeremy Jane, Dan Mahorek, Josh Shaw. Did I miss anyone?
Tyroot! Our boss!
Tyroot! Mr. Tyroot, who's
TY.
going to force feed me 60 frames a second footage of The Witcher, so I feel weird about my console experience, but whatever. Thanks very much for watching. We'll see you guys next week on GameSpot.com.
Tyfax.
Awesome.